One of the most important assets of our world is the trust. Trust is something which is important, and we don't have enough of it. There are many quarrels which actually come from the lack of trust, which come from all kinds of prejudices. The role of diplomats is actually to create this trust, to go beyond these prejudices, and to create the links which actually allow the international cooperation. Because if you want to cooperate with someone, you have to trust him. It's perhaps linked with my interest when I was a student. I was always interested in history, I was interested in philosophy, and these two things are actually linked with diplomacy. Because of course, if you read history, you often read about the great deeds of kings, diplomats, and philosophy is also maybe not so obvious, but there is a link because good diplomacy is actually intellectually demanding. And in this respect, philosophy is a good training for diplomacy. When I was academic, I used to be very much interested in the theories of international relations. I edited the first Czech textbook on the theory of international relations, and I was teaching the theory for many years. And that actually taught me one thing which is quite useful in diplomacy. Because you don't have one theory, you don't have one single theory of international relations. You have several, which means that you have always several perspectives. So whenever there is an international issue, there is not one single correct perspective. You have several perspectives, and this sort of opens you for understanding that even if you have a brilliant analysis, deep analysis, your partner or your opponent may have also a very brilliant, very deep analysis which can be completely different from yours. Well, I think it's quite obvious, because I mean traditionally in the international politics you had like two means how to resolve conflicts. It was either war or diplomacy. So if you do not have diplomacy, you have just the only other option how to deal with the conflicts, and that's war. On the one hand, it's in diplomacy or international politics, many of the things actually demand a lot of intellectual effort. So it's about abstraction, about thinking philosophically about the world. So that's something which sort of brings you to yourself, to sort of think it, to the analysis. But on the other hand, diplomacy is also a very social enterprise. So diplomacy is also about creating these links of the trust, which means that you have to be able to cultivate the links with the people, to be able to actually to create the links of trust and not to betray these links of trust. That's quite important.